Listen, I'm not really liking this. I don't like the way I look right now. I don't like what I'm wearing. I think I need to change. I hope you guys don't mind. Um, I just feel, there's just something. I just don't feel like I want to feel. You know what I mean? But don't laugh. It's not funny. I'm trying to impress you guys. I want to give you guys something magical experience. And this just isn't it. Give me a minute. Let me just change my clothes. Still not magical, but whatever. At least I feel a little bit more comfortable. Yeah. This color does not suit me, guys. Like, let me turn this. Is that better? This color does not suit me. It just, whatever. Hi guys, hi guys. Welcome in, welcome in. How are you guys doing? I hope you guys are having a great weekend. Um, Yesterday was Eid, and I'm so happy to see you all again. Hello, hello, Boa. Hi, Fix. Hi, Mr. Renegade. Hello, Carrie. Hi, Jeremy. Hi, Richard L. Hi, Thomas. Hi, Super Suka. Suka Belat. Hi, Larry. Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. I'm happy to see you all, and I hope you guys are having a great weekend. I am having a great weekend myself. It could be better, but yeah. All right. Okay, guys. So let's begin. Recently, in the High Art of Will, well, recently what I saw in the news was that what company is this? Meta. I think that's Facebook. They are now telling their North American employees to work from home. The reason being is because they don't want to have them in the office when they get fired. So Meta is in the process of releasing about 10,000 of their workers. And what I wanted to, hi, Beak. So what I wanted to say was, when I see this kind of things happening, when we see so many layoffs happening, Amazon has been letting people go. Now the Meta company, I mean, Facebook, who even uses Facebook anymore? I mean, grandparents and so on, which no problem with that, but it's not what it used to be. Let's just say that. So I have seen, hi Josh, I have seen that layoffs are a thing now. It's part of life right now. And the funny thing is that the economy is in such a strange state, right? Don't you guys think? Like, give an example. There's many jobs available, right? Everyone is hiring, but getting a job is so difficult right now for a lot of people. Keeping their job is very difficult because it's just so unbalanced. It's just not enough stability in the working market right now. So I have seen that a lot of people are getting Stop looking around my room. I want you to look here. Look here. Do I have to get in the camera? Only look to me. Do not look over there. Okay? Look here. Don't look over there. Don't look over there. Okay? You guys have something to look at right here. Why are you looking over there? There's nothing over there for you. I am here for you. Do not ignore me. Do not look through me. See, this is the problem with our relationship, guys. I just, I can't deal with this. This is the reason why we need therapy. We need couples therapy, all of us, because of what you guys do to me. Yes, I have a teddy bear. My husband gave me a teddy bear for my birthday last year because I'm a child, and that's what I like. So yes, your teddy bears has tentacles. Well, everybody has something. Carrie has a weakness for teddy bears. I do not want to know why. No. Hi, Sook. Welcome in, Sook. Let me see. Yeah, exactly, Boa. Finding people who want to work. So think about it. Work right now, and I know you guys are going to say, who are you to speak about work? You don't really have to work. I do work. I work for my husband, but I know the job market right now. I know it because I have my ear to the ground. I focus on these things. I'm in it. Okay. I'm out there. I'm out here in these streets. I'm out here in these streets, homie. I know how everything is going because I'm not an idiot. I don't just put my head under the ground. So with Meta, the Facebook company, releasing 10,000 of their workers. Yeah. Samuel, you said Ramadan ended. Yes, that's why I can be a psychopath again. So now the psychoticness of me is coming out again because Ramadan is done and now my horns are coming back out now, slowly but surely. But that's why I made my hair like this so I can cover them. You can't really see them now because, my hair covers the horns, but they're coming out now. Hi, Sharon. I know. You guys know I'm a gangster. See, this is my pride. They know I'm a gangster. This is why I love you guys. Hello, Patriot, American Patriot. You guys know. Gangster life is all over here. All me. What'd you say, Sharon? Sharon says, want to work, but still mandates for the clot shot. No job is worth your life. Yeah. About that. It's sad. So Ramadan has ended. Yes, guys, Ramadan has ended, and Middle Easterners are partying like it's, like it's the beginning of time. It's Ramadan, and what we do typically is feast. We feast on lamb mostly, but we eat, we get with the family. For us, it's like Christmas. You guys know how you guys feel between the times of Thanksgiving and Christmas. For us, that's like Ramadan for us, but of course we fast, and we don't only fast with the food, we fast through our minds, we fast through our tongues, we fast through our sexual desires, we fast through everything that you can ever bring you pleasure. In the daytime, you cannot indulge, but in the nighttime, you can. But even then, what Art of Will? There's a new scandal on Melanie King. Listen, guys, I do not want to be the gossip channel, okay? I know how fun it is to gossip, but I do not want to be the channel of gossip. I don't want to be, you know what I mean? I haven't been gangster enough. Oh, trust me, it's coming. Now that Ramadan is gone, it's coming. Don't worry. I will get back to what it used to be. Jeremy says, I've lost about 500 a week shipping things at work. People are not buying like they have. So in the title, I asked you guys, could this be? The reason why I asked you guys this is this. When I saw that article about Meta, the Facebook company, letting go of 10,000 workers in the North American sector, division, what have you, the first thing that came to my mind was this. Now tell me if I'm crazy. The first thing that came to my mind was, could this be an attempt to get people to vote Democrat for the upcoming elections? Because the more people are dependent on daddy government, the more they vote Democrat. Does that make sense? From what I've seen, you could come up and tell me I'm wrong, but when I saw that and knowing how far left Facebook is, Meta is no exclusion. Knowing how far left they are, could this be a ploy for them to get people to get on the dole or on the welfare system to vote Democrat? I know it seems far-fetched, but at the same time, do you really put anything past this group of people? Do you? I don't know. So could this be a ploy? The other thing I wanted to speak to y'all about was Donald Trump. So Donald Trump, Daddy Trump, my daddy in chief, Trump. Donald Trump, his deposition footages has been coming out. His deposition footages. I don't know if I'm saying that word right, but this happened, his deposition happened, I believe, in August or September of last year, but now the footage has been released, and I just started watching a little bit of it. They are literally trying to lynch this man yet again, but they've always been trying to lynch him, we already know. But I believe that with Trump, they are trying to, they're doing their best to try to run him through the mud, which I do believe increases his chances of winning in 2024. In 2024, I do believe it increases his chances of winning. But I also noticed that there is a divide about the whole Trump thing. I have a problem with Trump myself. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I love Trump as much as the majority of you might. But Daddy Trump has made me upset about something. And I don't know if it's ignorance on his part, which I doubt it is, because he has advisors. He has people to tell him about everything. The push for the vaccine. The push for the vaccine from Trump, many conservatives have spoken about it, that they are uncomfortable with Trump because it seems like he's the one pushing the vaccine more than anyone. Trump is so proud of the vaccine because he believes that the vaccine is something that he created. He believes that he is the one who is responsible for there being a vaccine in the first place. So, of course, he's very proud of his accomplishment. Now, the rest of us conservatives see that there are problems with the vaccine, and just because our leader Trump pushes it doesn't mean that we're going to go for it like sheep, So my question to you all is, will you still vote for Trump, knowing that he still is kind of pushing the vaccine on us? He said that he doesn't wish it to be mandatory. He says it should be the right to try drug, that it is, which I agree with. It should be the right to try drug. But will you still vote for Daddy Trump, even knowing that he is not against the vaccine, he is actually for it? My thing is, I think, Trump opened up the door back in, I believe, 2018 with the whole right to try. He signed a bill for drugs that are still experimental, drugs that are still not certified by the drug peoples. You guys understand who they are. But he's the one who signed that bill to say, I believe that the people should have the right to try experimental drugs if they believe it will help them, if it will save a person's life. They should be allowed to take a drug that is not certified by the, drug enforcement people. So that was the right to try bill. Now, I believe that the vaccine, the current corona vaccine, falls under that category of a right to try. I believe, if you're scared or if you're older and you're like, it could save my life, that you have the right to try it, right? So you guys tell me, will you still be voting for Daddy Trump, even though he is not against, thank you, FDA, thank you so much, even though he is not against the vaccine? Art of Will says, the guy Trump appointed for HHS was a big pharma executive. Fix says, only if there's no other choice. Wow. Is it really that bad? Are you guys really serious? Sharon says, no one should be forced to take it. Military, medical, and hospital staff and airlines still mandate. Do they? Huh. I thought the mandates were over. I thought now it's all up to preference or desire to take. Will says, was the vaccine developed by an African American woman that Fauci stated? English, Will, English. That's not forever English. Was it developed by an African American woman? I don't think so, but I do know that the first person that they put the vaccine into in America was a black woman. And you know, everybody, the black community was like, yes, yes, vaccinate the blacks first. And then the rest of us are like, you know what? That kind of reminds us of how the American government does experiments on black people. Tuskegee comes to mind, right? I mean, hi, AM. Hi, welcome in. So what do you guys see? Wait, Mr. Renegade. Wait. Subhanallah, this thing is, why does this happen to me? Why? He said he's better for the country, but I'd hate to see him force the vax. He doesn't want to force it. He says that he wants people to take it, but he will not force it. He will make sure it's not forced on the people. James says, I heard the vaccine from Trump is not the same as the Biden vaccine. It's been switched. I don't know about that. I don't know. I'm not sure about that, but that would make sense. That would actually make sense. You want to know why? Because before, when Trump was pushing for the vaccine, the Democrats were against it. You guys remember? They were like, oh, we don't even know if this thing is certified. It's not, you guys don't take that. It's not ready. It's not verified, and so on and so forth. When Biden became president, all of a sudden they're like, mandates. You must take it or else you can't live. You must take it or else you can't travel. You must take it or you can't work. So that would make sense that something changed in the vaccine, and that's why they started pushing it. Because I remember in the beginning, they didn't want to give Trump any credit. Speaking of Trump getting credit, the Middle East right now is going down in shambles. I don't know if you guys have been keeping up on the news, but the Middle East right now is in wartime yet again. The Israelis, of course, it has to be done, but they are doing something over there, as you know. Trump got no credit for what he did in the Middle East. I think I speak to you guys about this often, but Trump got no credit when Trump should have gotten what is it called? A Peace Award or the Nobel Prize, or you guys understand what I'm talking about. I don't know why I can't think today, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Trump should have been awarded that for what he did in the Middle East. He brought peace to the Middle East. And now that he's gone, the Middle East is back to being in shambles. Obama got the Nobel Prize Peace Award, whatever that thing was, just for being black and becoming the president. When in fact, he brought nothing but turmoil to the Middle East. Look at Libya. The reason Libya is the way it is right now is because of him. But he gets a Nobel Peace Award, or Biden is in office right now. And look at the world. Look at Ukraine. Sorry guys if I made any noise on the microphone. Look at Ukraine. Look at Libya. Look at the Middle East. Look at Israel and Lebanon, Israel and Egypt, Israel and Palestine. Things are not good. So I've noticed that every time that you see the left is in power, the world goes to shambles outside of our borders. Oh, and inside of our borders, let's not lie. But outside of here, in the Middle East, in Europe, everything goes to hell. But when there's a conservative, I'm not even going to say a conservative, because Bush wasn't that great either, because I love Bush, but then I also don't know about him, because I was a kid when all of that stuff happened with the 9/11. I was just a kid. I didn't know much. But one thing I did know was that it didn't look right. Okay? You know why I say it didn't look right? Because tell me how 2 buildings made of steel and concrete and whatever else men use to make things. I'm not a man. These two buildings, strong buildings that have been standing for decades, fall, crumble, turn into powder on your hands, right? But they found a passport from Saudi Arabia intact, where they were able to read it and they were able to know what name was it and everything. So you can't find the black boxes for the planes, right? For the planes of the incident. The buildings are pulverized, but you found a Saudi passport, which gave you the clue to where to look to for the perpetrators of the event. Not to mention building number 7. Building number 7, nobody talks about it. How did it fall? I don't know. So as for Bush, there's just there's some weird stuff about it, and I would hate to think that America planned an attack on herself, that a president would let an attack like that happen and sacrifice so many Americans, all for world domination. I don't know, but that's what it seems like to me. I was too young to know about all of that, and any research that I did about this, you just see so many people, naysayers, basically saying, no, it was definitely those terrorists. For years, they've been threatening to take down the towers. So of course, it was the terrorists. Of course, whatever weird things happen, it's just coincidences, really, because we know that the Middle East were the ones. The Middle Easterners were the ones who did this. I am so thirsty. 1 minute. I had a little mini bar here. I'm going to go ahead and get some water and bring it back. All right. I'm back. Here we go. Okay. So about that, I mean, that's why I say I don't know if I can trust in just Republicans, but I know one thing. I do trust Trump. 1 moment. Pardon me, guys. I am, what is the word? Famished? No. The word for thirsty, that's like, right. This is why I say I don't call myself a Republican, because I don't want to be blinded by R or D. I don't want to be blinded because a person has R next to their name or a D next to their name. I'm a conservative. And if you can show me something that brings happiness to my conservative little heart, then I will vote for you, But I haven't seen many Democrats that were able to do that. So Art of Will says he doesn't trust any politician. Yeah, and that's why I like Trump so much, because he's not a politician. He's not. And this is one of the best things about him. He's not one of those, what is it called, swamp preachers. He's not one of those people who just been born and raised essentially in the politic or the political sphere. He's not that. And that's what made him so great. I am parched. There you are. Thank you. Parched. Oh my God. See, I would have known this word, but right now I can't think very well. I don't know what's going on with my brain. It is not doing the doings. I think I need to reboot it. Yvonne says, Republicans are some rhinos. My only faith is Trump to get him in and fire somebody. Am I not reading English today right? Or do I feel like all of you guys are not writing proper grammar? Because I feel like I want to yell at you guys, but at the same time I'm thinking, is it me? Am I the one who's not reading right? Obama's Arab Spring resulted in establishment politicians. So, guys, do you guys want to see something? Okay, I'm going to show you guys something. Yesterday, I was on a podcast briefly, and I'll share with you guys. It was on Chaotic Truth channel. Chaotic Truth, you guys know who Chaotic is. You guys know that he is chaotic. Now, yesterday, we had a very, very brutal panel. I was called a bitch on this panel. The person, it was a man called me a bitch. He told me, what did he say? Well, you'll hear it. He just basically insulted me to all heavens, and all because he could not, he's trying to debate me about my own religion and the Arab Spring and all of that. So do you guys want to watch that just really quickly? I'll just show you guys pieces of it, and then you guys tell me what you think about it. Huh? Rest, food, caffeine? No, 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 no. I don't need any of that. I have you guys. No, not on Lakeith. It's I'm gonna show it to you guys. He was projecting. Did you guys see it? Lou, you were there. You were there. You missed it. You missed it because once you left, that's when all hell broke loose, Lou. And I was insulted. Like I had never been insulted like that. Like people, women always like call me something or try to criticize me because of my life, my lifestyle, my husband, my what have you. But never has anyone gone that low to publicly call me a well, I can actually say this word because this word, first of all, is not banned by YouTube. Second of all, it is a female dog. It is a proper word. Never have I had someone call me a bitch on public on a public sphere. He did that. And I want to show you guys. I'm going to show you guys this. Oh, Lou says, I figured it was getting there. You know who I'm talking about, Lou. And yes, exactly. You know who I'm talking about. Hi, Michelle. Okay. I'm gonna actually pull this up for you guys because I think it's nice for you guys to see because this thing that we were talking about the Arab Spring, and these people are just the type of people. I've always said that blacks and Asians are the most racist people that I know, and this kind of proved my point. No matter how much people try to get mad or they're upset because I say that or they call it racism, it's not racist to point out the truth. Okay. Oh my gosh. No, chaotic. Okay, I'm gonna get him to send me he privated it to the members only. 1 second. I'm gonna tell him to send me the link. He'll send it to me. 1 minute because it got that bad. I think that's the reason why he privated it because it got bad. Let me call him really quickly. Okay, guys, hold on 1 second. I'll call him because it's faster. 1 second. You guys are gonna hear a phone call, but whatever. If he answers.
What's going on, Amir?
Hey, chaotic. What you doing?
How you doing? Just watching Star do commentary on this fight.
Oh yeah, that's right. There is a fight tonight. That's right. Hey, so I'm trying to look up your video from yesterday, and I want to play a part of it on my channel. So can you send me the link to it because it's members only?
Yeah, I can send to you.
Thank you. I'm waiting for you now. Okay.
Yeah, let me hold on for 1 second. Let me see if you can get it now. I'm gonna put it on unlisted actually. Wait 1 second.
Okay. I'm here waiting for it. Wait, let me see. Maybe I just have to
All right, give me one.
Refresh.
I haven't done it yet.
Do you think it's that bad that you have to private it?
I think with the type of conversation, yeah, the conversation was too crazy. And I got a strike the other day, but I appealed it. So yeah, let me see if you can get it this way.
Okay.
All right, tell me if you got it. All right, I'm texting to you.
I did, but I can't play it this way. Here, wait. All right, I'll try to play it like this then. Okay, then.
Is it working for you?
1 second. Let me pull it up. Okay. It's working.
Sounds good. Yeah.
It's working. All right then. So I will. I'm gonna play it right now. Actually, you're on live right now. I'm on the live stream right now, so people can hear you.
Oh, okay.
But I'm gonna play it right now then, and
okay.
Enjoy. Yep, there it is. Oops, I got it. Thank you so much, chaotic.
All right.
Bye.
No problem.
Okay then, guys. So here we go. We are going to pull it up. I'll share it with you. This is, here we go. Okay, so towards this part, I want to say, I'm trying to figure out which part it was. All right, so in this, can you guys see? Okay, you guys can see. Let me take off Lou's thing. Lou says, hi, chaotic. All right, so here we go. This, just give me a second while I'm finding the part that I need to find. They were talking about the Arab Spring, and I wanted to really speak about Obama in this section, but honestly, the panel was just so, um, what is the word? Feisty? You can call it feisty, but it got bad here. I left a little bit towards the middle. Let me see what this is.
Listen, Hafiz, I'm talking, yeah, so shut your mouth. Nina, as I just want to let you know.
Oh wow! As soon as I play again, okay. I believe.
Yeah,
Yes,
you see, look at where Mr. S is going. He brought mothers into this.
It was Supergirl that sent over the Cash App. Thank you so much.
So I don't want to play just random stuff. I want you guys to actually hear a topic from.
But just like there's opportunity for business and things like that, there's also opportunities on the seedy side, and that seedy side happens to be females getting flown over there just to catch a couple of turds in their mouth.
Oh goodness, I am so sorry about that, guys. Okay, look, I am sure every part that I click on is just, oh my god. I'm trying to get to a part where we're speaking about something political, but every part that I'm getting on is like,
What's up?
Now, what about that? These young ladies said in America, which I already knew, they get catcalled and harassed. Nina said she even got followed by American men, sir. But when D was over in Abu Dhabi, that didn't happen to her. What you have to say about that, Mr. America?
Mr. America now, huh? Okay. I'll take that. I'll take that supposed insult. Yeah, I could say there's probably in a Democratic city.
That is true.
Oh my gosh. There's an excuse for everything in there.
Yeah.
What else? Like, okay, so what's the answer I'm supposed to give you, Mr. Right about everything? You saying I'm right about everything? My opinion doesn't matter? You're a fucking imbecile if you think that. It's in Democrat City. They have no morals. When you have no morals, you have no character. You have someone else's wife. Did you know that's considered adultery? And adultery is punishable by death?
so this person that's speaking, I'll go back just a little bit so we can get kind of like the beginning of this. Now, what we were speaking about here is that this person is very anti-Arab, very anti-Middle Easterners. And his point is that in the Middle East, women are attacked in the streets. Women can't walk down the street without being assaulted. And that women feel more safe when they walk down the streets in America. The thing is that this person is speaking as a person who's never been to the Middle East, knows nothing about the Middle East. He even admitted to the fact that he's never even left America. He's never even left the borders, the safe borders of America. So this person, in every sense of the word of ignorant, is what it is ignorance. And I hate using that word because so many people use it incorrectly. They just try to insult people using the word ignorance. It's not insulting to be ignorant. It just means you don't know, and you're just saying things because you have a misconception. Now, this person is speaking as if he is some kind of conservative, and I, as a full-on conservative, you guys know how right-wing I am. I think I'm the most right-wing girl that you guys probably ever known, because like I said, I even believe, well, I'll just leave that there. I'm very conservative. I'm very right-wing. Let's leave it there. And me being Middle Eastern and Muslim, he probably assumed that I was Democrat and I was against America, which I'm not. So what he tried to do was insult me and say my country or the countries in the Middle East, the Arab countries, are S-holes and America is the best thing ever. I am easy to admit that America is a great country. It is the greatest country in the world currently. And it has been the greatest country in the world for about 70 years. And I love America. You guys know how much I love America. But at the same time, that just because a country is not America does not make it an S-hole. S-hole has certain qualifications, okay? That there's nothing good there. There's nothing of value there. And people are trash. The environment is trash. Everything is trash. Now, there are countries in the world that are S-holes, but many Middle Eastern countries, the majority of Middle Eastern countries are not S-holes. We do have about two. We have about two S-hole countries that are Middle Eastern that I'm like. And when I say Middle Eastern, I don't mean Muslim, because people get that confused as well. The Middle East is from, Turkey down to Oman, down to Yemen, over into Saudi Arabia, and up to Egypt. No, not Egypt. Up to, I want to say, Lebanon. That is the Middle East. Egypt is not the Middle East. Yes, it is considered a Middle Eastern country, but Egypt is North African. Does that make sense? Egypt, Libya, Algeria, they're Arab-speaking Middle Eastern countries, but they're not in the Middle East. Does that make sense? I know people get it, you know. So anyway, so he tried to say that all, you know, Middle Eastern countries are like that and it's so dangerous. And there are women up here who are from the Middle East, myself and the black woman that's up there, the woman with the blonde wig on her hair. She lived in the Middle East. I don't know if she's still living in the Middle East, but she was living in Abu Dhabi. And she was speaking contrary to him and telling him, hey, look, I lived in the Middle East and she's a beautiful woman. Look at her. She's not ugly at all. And she walks down the street in America. She gets catcalled. And, you know, she even admitted that she had a man that because she denied him attention when he was trying to catcall her, that he just often called her BATCH and called her a slut and a whore and all kinds of things just because she ignored him. Now, they asked her, how did you feel in the Middle East walking down the street? She said, I felt so safe because in the Middle East, men do not do that. Men don't go around catcalling women because there's respect for another man's wife. We don't know if that woman is married. And in the Middle East, you don't see men going around, hey, mommy, hey, girl, hey, come here, girl. What's your number, girl? Huh? Let me get a piece of that, girl. I could be the deal to your pickle, girl. You don't see that in the Middle East. There's none of that because we have culture. It's different. So this is what this argument is about. And you will see right now that he's very racist. What's the best word to say? He's very racist to Middle Easterners. I don't mind racism. But I've always said that Black people and Asians are the most racist people that I've ever known. And I still stand by that because I have not been proven wrong yet. So here's the conversation. I've caught you guys up. Here we go.
Did you know that, CT? No, you don't. Because you don't things that are happening right now around the world and you're silent.
Guys, how about this? Okay, right.
It's like you don't care about the billion people that are not living like they are in Abu Dhabi.
Right. Hold on for 1 second, right? And I'm gonna get her fast in a minute. Now, the young lady D has lived in Abu Dhabi. I asked her when she was there, did she get catcalled? Which happens all the time in America. She said no, which I assumed, but she did say she was propositioned to become a wife. I can understand that, or a second or third wife. I can understand that. But in America,
okay, so let me tell you about the law. Let me tell you about the law.
Right. Give me a second. Right. Give me a second. In America,
I understand your question. I understand your question. You're drawing out your question for no reason.
Okay. Hold on for a second. I want to do it for the audience. You know, in America, Rock, women are harassed and catcalled. And trust me, I see it all the time. Hey, what up, girl? Well, fuck you, here, bitch. We see it all the time. So she's in a Middle Eastern country. Nobody's bothering her. She's an attractive female. Nobody's bothering her.
She's very attractive.
So how do you explain that?
Okay. So we're going to compare the hellhole, which is a democratic city in the United States, to the most advanced Muslim country in the world. That's what we're having the comparison to. Okay, let's have that comparison, and let me talk about basic facts and the actual law over there. The law over there is if, let's say, a man would catcall that woman walking down the road, and that woman was someone else's wife. Did you know that's considered adultery? And adultery is punishable by death. Did you know that, CT?
Now, tell me this, guys. Tell me, if you hear this outright, you hear that that is considered adultery, right? And we are very strict on adultery. We're not down with that, right? It's not right. If you wanna have a second wife, that's different. But going after women in the middle of the street, that is not permitted. Now, he's saying it as if it's a bad thing. Would you rather have your daughter walking outside in a country where it's considered adulterous and punishable strictly? It can be punishable by death, but it's punishable. There's actually punishments and consequences. Or would you rather a country where your daughter is in the street and that is all permissible? There's nothing illegal about catcalling. Now, I'm not saying that that's how it should be in America, not by far. But he's talking about it as if it's a bad or negative thing that we don't permit catcalling like that, that we don't allow that to happen to our women in the Middle East. So I don't see how that's a bad thing, but let's see what he says.
No, you don't, because you don't read about this stuff. These
In the
people,
Bible, too.
Black Moses is up here freaking faking crap.
Mind you, this man has never been to the Middle East. He's speaking as if he knows about the Middle East. He has no idea what he's talking about. But carry on.
Yeah.
It's considered adultery. It's
Let
considered,
Rock-
catcalling is not considered adultery in Muslim religion.
Wait,
That's
wait,
not
you-
considered adultery.
What if, okay, Rock, hold on for a second. Now, Rock is onto something. But
There's
what
my
if-
answer.
But Rock, all the men in all the men in Abu Dhabi aren't married. So what is stopping the single men in Abu Dhabi from catcalling?
Because if you see a woman walking down the street, most likely it's a Western woman, number one. Because if I remember correctly, well, now they've actually advanced a lot in the last 2 years since MBDS or whatever took over, or whatever his freaking name is.
You're muted, Amira.
Of course, I was muted. Thank you so much. If you look in the right corner at the bottom, Hafez, the one that you see there with his hand up as if he was in school, he is from Iran, and the one next to him, Mr. S with a cap on his head, is from Yemen. The gentleman at the top, Abu al-Banat, he's a Black Muslim. Now, these are people, thank you guys, I know, I'm sorry, I thank you, Samuel, for pointing that out. But yes, these are people that are Muslim, and two of them are actually from the Middle East. And this man, this SDR person, he's a Black man in America living in a very American city, I believe is in Texas. I'm not sure, but don't quote me on that. But he's speaking on the Middle East as if he knows what he's speaking about. The reason I'm showing you guys this is for a reason. I'm showing you guys this for a purpose. It's not just to give you guys a laugh. I'm speaking about this because the Middle East is a special place for me. Maybe not for you guys, but for me, it's a very special place. And in the Middle East, there's been so much corruption that has happened. There's been so many people putting their hands in the Middle East, like with Obama in Libya. I know Libya is North African, but it's still considered Middle Eastern. But you see these countries, and then America comes, like Obama, completely disorganizes the country. There's a word for this, but I can't think of it right now. Sorry. Makes the country completely destabilized, unstable, destabilized, and then America leaves. And then the Arabs are sitting there like, so what now? Same thing happened in Iraq. They took away Saddam Hussein. All of a sudden, they're like, oh yes, America did a great thing. America did a great thing, but look at Iraq now. You know what I mean? It's not that it made it better. It just made it destabilized. So this gentleman here, he's speaking about, thank you, Skit. Thank you so much. That's the word. But you see these Americans come and speak about the Middle East as if it's like, oh yeah, these people are just, oh, they're savages and so on and so forth. But you don't know anything about the history. You don't know. Iraq has not recovered yet. Iraq is still going through it. I mean, yeah, it's getting better, but it's still not back to its good days. Yes, regime change. Thank you. I'll let this go on for a little bit more because I do want you guys to see the part where I was insulted by this man. I didn't watch it back, so I'm curious to see it too.
Yes.
You
Okay.
can go to school and
You're
stuff.
basically talking out of your ass right now. So what I wanted to say, and I put it in the chat, every Arab or Persian man that I know in my life right now, in this phone, who even those that approach me because they wanted to shoot their shot, has never tried to bop me upside the head and take me. I can't say that about guys that look like you.
Okay, go to Saudi Arabia.
But we're talking about here.
Go to Afghanistan. Go to all these other countries. But here's my point. You're not addressing what my answer was. Why you just block? Every time I give a freaking answer and then you people say I'm not saying anything. Address what I said. Is it or is it not adultery in the Muslim religion to catcall someone. Is it or is it not? If you're married or not, you don't know if that other person you're catcalling is married. So you cannot do that. That is haram. You're supposed to be, any relationship is supposed to be set up. You don't just go out there and look for relationships.
It's supposed to be set up. He says every Muslim relationship is supposed to be set up. I love when people speak about a culture that they've never had any personal experiences with, or never been to these countries, or just no idea. But yeah. Oh, can I say something? I'll tell you guys later. I'll tell you guys later, because this might be controversial, what I want to say. I'll just wait until they're done and then I'll tell you.
Are you serious?
Mr. Rock, in your brain, you have a Quran that's totally different. In your brain, you have the Arabian map that's, oh my days, we don't know what it is. In your brain, you have a cultural identity of Arabs that's totally, that's it, more worse than the Western narrative.
It's from your own book. It's from the Quran. It's from me reading the Quran, and you're telling me that doesn't represent you? That's imbecilic. At least when you say bad stuff about the Bible, I can say, yes, that's bad about the Bible, and we don't practice that anymore. But when we say something about it, you're willing to chop somebody's head off, and you want to come up here and say that your women are freer than ours? Get out of here, dude.
Yeah, can I make
let him Faz get in real quick. Faz, go ahead.
Okay. The thing is, we hear a lot about, the safety and security of.
Hafez is Iranian and he's an ex-Muslim. So he is basically giving his version of why he hates Islam, because in Iran, they practice a different type of Islam. They practice Shia Islam, and their rules are completely different from the other Middle Eastern countries. This is why the majority of Persians that you see, when they leave their country of Iran, they come here and they tend to be secular, or they convert to Christianity, because they have been traumatized by their country and their government using Islam, the Shia version of Islam, against them. So this is why he's going to speak the way he speaks.
Of some Middle Eastern countries, and that is a very small number of countries that can be that safe. Most of them are, you would probably get murdered if you were walking in Kabul or in parts of Syria or in Baghdad or other, the other war-torn nations, effectively. So
countries that the West went into, yeah.
Countries that the West went into, yeah. I didn't interrupt anyone else. Can I please just have my moment? I don't care. Don't listen. Then mute up and shut up.
You have a Union Jack. Why are you British? Are you?
Yes, because I'm a British man. Yes. But as far as what I'm trying to tell you is that.
I apologize, but I think the British will not accept him as a brother. I don't know. They could, but I don't know if it's like America. In America, it doesn't matter your color, you're accepted. In Britain, I do believe that they're a little, well, like I said, I lived in Liverpool, and I didn't see them accepting, even if you had citizenship, they still would not consider you a proper British person unless you were actual British blood. Does that make sense? You guys understand what I'm saying, right?
He's possibly a British citizen, but he's not a Briton.
That's what I'm saying. And that's why I say it's not like America. In America, you can be accepted as a full American no matter your color. In Britain, it doesn't work that way. They still have that feeling of like, oh, you don't have British blood, so you're not going to be considered a proper Brit, even if you have citizenship.
The point is that you could go to North Korea and probably be very safe also. You could probably go to Singapore and be very safe also. That doesn't say anything about Islam. It just says about a particular dictatorial regime, which is extremely brutal, that keeps people in line. It doesn't say whether Islam is good or bad. When you go to you can go to China. I'm sure some parts of, certain Beijing might be extremely safe.
They do, Mr. Renegade. But Chaotic, he tries to give people a chance, and I think that he should have exercised that mute button a lot more than he did, but it's his show. It's what he wanted, so I have to respect that.
He's right.
So it's not
The cities
about
that you pick,
this doesn't get us anywhere to say I went to Abu Dhabi and I didn't get harassed. That doesn't really say anything, because Abu Dhabi and the Emirate nations are brutal and they are a dictatorships. Do you want to live in a dictatorship?
I'll tell you
That's
why.
the question that you should be asking yourselves.
Can I tell you why? Can I tell you why we're brutal? Can I tell you why?
It's not us, Mr. S. It's not us. That's like
no. They have a problem with the Gulf states, not Lebanon. Okay, it's not Lebanon. They have a problem with people that are like me and the countries where I'm from, proudly. Now, let me just go to Hafez now and tell him why, and ask him why has he picked cities like Kabul, Damascus, City, Baghdad, cities that the West has gone in, took out resources, oil, they've taken out, they've bombed the whole countries of Syria, the country he just mentioned, Iraq and Afghanistan. His narrative in his brain about Islam is just war-torn countries. 1, 2. The reason why we have these laws is because we are Arabs. We don't know democracy. I'm telling you. They've tried democracy in Tunisia. They tried your Western democracy style in Tunisia. More corruption. They tried that after they toppled Gaddafi. Now that country split into 3. Yemen, Arab Spring happened there. They toppled Ali Abdullah Saleh, a beloved president. Yeah, they shot him in the head house in the capital city. Why? Because they're trying to bring in Western democracy. Now, Hafez, you, Mr. Ex-Muslim, you're telling me, proud Muslim, about me. With them, you are the guy with the Union Jack. I've never, ever seen an Arab, a Muslim, with a Union, proudly putting up a Union Jack. Okay, because
I'm proud of living in Great Britain.
I don't even need to show you nothing.
I appreciate what Britain has done for me. You don't appreciate Britain as an immigrant to Britain. You don't appreciate Britain. I appreciate Britain.
Excuse me. Let me tell you something.
We have the same argument here in America, where if a person is still proud of their country or proud of their nation, that Americans will say, you need to adapt to the American way. You need to let your traditions and your culture fall to the side, because now you're American. If you come to this country, you need to adopt American traditions now. You need to be an American. And I'm half and half on that, because, partly I believe that, you do need to assimilate. You need to assimilate to American life. You do not need to bring, have these little hubs of your own country in America. Does that make sense? If you go to certain places, you go to places where you don't even feel like you're in America anymore. Anyway, I'll just let this keep going, because if not, I'm going to start going on tangents, and I want to get through this first a little bit.
Let me tell you something, yeah? You pawns off the British government. I bring employment to this place.
Okay, this part he started to get a little bit talking about other things. Let me move on.
Muslim sects as well.
Mark, what did he say about Jim Jones? He killed 900 Negroes, had them drinking poison Kool-Aid. Can you imagine that? Chicken and
He
Kool-Aid.
didn't kill 900 black people. He killed 900 white people.
No, the majority of his cult was black.
We know what we're dealing with now.
Oh my God.
We know what we're dealing with now.
So you tell me the one that I think it was Kool-Aid, and if I remember correctly, it was arsenic that was in the Kool-Aid, and they had videotape of it. So don't freaking try to freaking say I don't know about things. Give me a second to freaking think, you imbeciles.
I think it's also
From what I remember, there wasn't that many black people. From the videotape
down there, and these dumb Negroes drank some Kool-Aid, and
it sounds like they turned themselves into martyrs. So it doesn't really sound like Christian to me, because Christians don't turn themselves into martyrs. Christians know that if they kill themselves, they go to hell. So that was definitely a cult. Yes, any religion can be used for bad things, just like we saw over there in Germany.
Well, let's be real. Every religion can be used for bad things, just like how we saw the Dalai Lama kissing that boy and trying to put his tongue in that boy's mouth. No matter how much you guys want to say it was a joke, that is another form of people, the religious leaders, using their powers, their powers over the people against them.
Whenever, they created the Reich and whatnot. They used Christianity then.
Was Christian. His cult was Christian. They used the
Get Rock up out of here.
Bible.
Somebody send over Cashapp to get Rock up out of here for 20 minutes. Rock, you can come back at 7:14.
So that is when he came back. When he came back is when he insulted me and went off on me. So I think it should be past here.
And shows and becomes a beacon.
The eyes of a man says 1,000 words. Okay, Hafez?
Rock, it's just me and you talking. Nobody else cut. No, but nobody. Hold on. Give me and Rock a second.
As much hate that we have for Islam, more and more Christian churches are closing. More and more mosques are being built. If Islam was as bad as everybody who is, hold on, brother, let me finish, please. If Islam was as bad as everyone who's against it says it is, it would not be 1.8 billion of us of all different shapes, colors, and creeds, and still growing.
Now, look, listen, he said that, and to be honest, it hurts me to see the Christian church in the state that it is right now. I told you guys before, the Christian church is not respected anymore. And I believe it's because of the lack of respect for men. You know, you have women preachers in the Christian churches, and I think that that's an abomination in itself. But I want the respect for the Christian church to be returned to America, to be returned to the West. And I believe that that would help the West get rid of some of the problems that we have right now, mainly being the LGBT agenda, the rainbow flag agenda. This really bothers me. And I don't know if you guys know how badly it bothers me, but Larry and Samuel know, because they speak to me, you know, alone. And when I guess I'm in my most irritable state, so they know how much this really gets to me. But anyway, I'll continue.
Black Muslim talking about Muslims are taking over the United States.
Brother Rock,
you know
Brother
what?
Rock,
Go to a country over there, no money. You're gonna you're end up in slavery. They're gonna sell you in Yemen.
Brother Rock,
they're gonna sell you in freaking Kuwait. Okay, they're gonna sell you, bro.
I am not a black Muslim.
They don't care about you. Ask Hafez. Hafez, have I said really anything wrong tonight about Islam? Sir, because you used to practice it. Have I said anything wrong, sir?
Yes, you have, and I think the parents can agree.
No, shut up, Abu. You obviously don't listen. I didn't ask you, you fucking imbecile. Shut up, Hafez. Hafez.
Go ahead.
Hey, Rock, real quick. Do you, Rock? Now you know
I'm sick of people.
Rock, hold on.
Go ahead.
Just me and you. Now, you know, I've been doing a lot of double headers, so, you know, I'm kind of tired, but I'm like on one with the coffee that you guys are providing with the super chats. Did you just say that if Abu was in a third or a Muslim country, they would enslave him, sir?
You know, Will, I'm gonna say it. I'm saying it. I'm gonna say it for you, Will. The real Christians, the realest Christians that I've seen that follow the Bible to a T, these are the Orthodox Christians in Romania, in Russia, and in, you know, other over there on that side of the world. These Christians follow Christianity to a T, and they look like Muslims because they follow the Bible to a T. And no matter how much people try to get mad at me for saying that, this is truth, because the Bible is more similar to Islam than not. We have more similarities than differences. Now, I know a lot of Christians don't like to hear that, because a lot of Christians feel that, you know, Christianity is so different from Islam. There's many foundational differences, yes, but the majority of things are similar with us. We are brethren. We are brothers and sisters. And like I said, Christianity still has hope. If we can bring Orthodox Christianity back, Christianity will still have hope, and I believe that Christianity will be respected again. I'm going to pass back this part a little bit because they're speaking about slavery, and you know, every time I speak about slavery on my channel, because I'm Arab, people tend to see me a certain way.
It's not better than the white. Gonna explain to this other Muslim
non-Arab.
Abu, you're a Abu idiot. You're a Abu idiot.
I told you I'm gonna come on
Dude, the funniest thing to me is a black liberal and a black Muslim. That's so funny to me, dude.
American. As an American
Yes,
black.
Hafez, am I wrong, Hafez?
He's been there. Right? No, chaotic. He's been there. He knows. He knows everything.
Shut up, you woman that doesn't have any freedom.
Right. Stop. Hafez, is this true? Would they have with the Afghanis enslave Abu, who's an American? Is this true, Hafez?
In Libya, if he was a black person and was caught in the wrong place, absolutely, they've got slave markets right now, and most of the slaves are from Cameroon and Congo and sub-Saharan Africa. So yeah, in Libya he would be. I don't know in Afghanistan, but the prophet,
Afghanistan will probably just kill him.
The prophet himself sold 2 black slaves for 1 white slave. I've just put the hadith, the Sahih Muslim hadith in the side chat for you if you like to take a look. The prophet he considered black slaves lesser than white slaves himself.
No, he did not, because the final Sermon on the Mount, when the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him,
the black
made the
Muslim
final
that's been
sermon
a
on the
Muslim.
Mount, he said the black is not better than the
guy
white,
is gonna explain to
the
this
Arab is
other
not better than
Muslim
the
dude.
non-Arab.
Abu, you're Abu idiot. You're Abu idiot.
I told you I'm gonna come with receipts.
Dude, the funniest thing to me is
So I want to get past it because I'm still not giving my part yet, but I don't know. I can't find it right now. But that part was so contentious, and I forgot what it was that was said or what I said to him that made him go off the rails like that. But it was hilarious. It really was
They're not
hilarious.
Muslim. They're what are they, guys? It's a lot of them in
Indians.
Hold on 1 second. Oh, Clue Channel
They
was
can't
there.
separate their laws from their religion.
And
oh
still
my
grow.
Lord, this black Muslim talk.
No, I can't find it. I don't know. I don't want to go through this with you guys if I can't find it. But anyway, go check it out. Oh yeah, you guys can't unless you're a member on Chaotic Channel. He did say he was thinking about unlisting it, so you guys will be able to see it. But you have to go see it. I mean, I can't find the part right now. I mean, I'm not gonna. I don't want to corrupt your guys' ears by listening to too much of that without, knowing where I'm going with it. Okay, so I'll just let that be. That was the conversation that happened. We were speaking about the Middle East, and I mean, listen, this is why I'm worried about when Trump comes back, because I'm like, Trump was the best thing that happened to America for the time that he was here. He was the best thing, and I just pray that that they don't do anything to him before the elections come, or because he is really at risk of being harmed. We know that. We already know that people really want his head on a stick. So we must protect Trump by all means. I'm going to put the link in the chat. So if you guys want to come up and chat with me, feel free. Here, let me put it in the chat. If you guys want to argue with me too, you guys can feel free. GB says no. Ron Paul was better. Ron Paul, the thing with Ron Paul is that he has no huevos. He doesn't have huevos, okay? No matter how stable-minded you may think Ron Paul is, in my mind, in my view, your image and how you act and how you come back, your wit and all of that, it's a huge deal when it comes on the world stage, because that is something that can get people to think twice before they say something to you, to think twice before they attack America, to see you as someone to be respected and to be almost feared. And Ron Paul, I'm sorry, looking at frail Ron Paul, he's not someone that could actually command that level of fear from the world. Trump was it. Trump is it. People are scared of Trump because Trump is unknown. You don't know what he's going to do next. And that is the type of person that we need right now in America, because we're not in a time of peace. We are in war times worldwide. Worldwide, this is wartime. No matter how peaceful it may seem to a lot of you, we're in war. And we need a warrior. Trump is a warrior. Ron Paul, he has a lot of great things, but I'm sorry, he doesn't have that it factor that makes people respect you and think twice before they say something to you or about your country. Trump had it. People were scared of Trump. You guys know Kim Jong-un, he tried to threaten America when Trump was president. And you saw how he turned around so fast with Trump. He turned around like that because he didn't know if Trump's threats were going to come to pass. And that's the thing. You want people to always think like, is he all talk or is he really going to do it? Because this man looks like he's really going to do it. I want to welcome in Schizo. Hi, Schizo. How are you?
Yeah, thanks for letting me on. Yeah, I just want
You're
to
cheeky banter? Oh, you're not cheeky banter. I'm sorry. Go on.
Oh, no, that's not me. Yeah, I just wanted to call in because one thing you did touch on is one thing that America does do. They do meddle in a lot of countries, like how you talked about Libya, Iraq, and Syria. And then when they leave over time, people be like, how come those people aren't getting their stuff together? Oh, these people, look at their country, look at the way it is, but people don't understand what caused it, what caused the country to be like that. Because Libya, I wouldn't say Gaddafi was the best president, but he was the best thing for them. They made a lot of advances. He had created a system where they can pump water from the ocean all the way to the desert part. And there was healthcare there, there was education there. But now it's completely destabilized, which is more dangerous for the world. Because now you have desperate people that can do anything. It's like you're creating desperate people. Therefore, if somebody's the enemy to another country, it's easy to get those people to do something against that other country. And we don't need more destabilized countries. But even though I love my country, America, but you can't criticize it. A lot of people say, well, leave it if you don't like it. But no, I can't criticize it because I think we could do better. And America needs
and that's exactly what I was going to speak on. Thank you for reminding me. And I agree with you mostly. The thing that I was going to speak on was the non-assimilation by certain groups of people when they come to the United States, and how that should be taken and how that should be dealt with. Is it a good thing for people to keep their culture and their traditions and not assimilate fully? Or is it a bad thing to do that? So my thing with you guys is, you guys know I'm Middle Eastern. I have my culture. I have my traditions. I have my language. I have all of that is me. You guys don't hear me speaking my language. You guys don't see me in my cultural mannerisms and everything daily, what I do on a daily basis. You guys don't see it. But I still live very much like my culture has brought me up to live. And if I had to assimilate fully to the American way of life and be, I guess, what would be the full assimilation? It would be like full American foods, only speaking English, only listening to English American music or what have you, not wanting to be around people of my own traditions, but actually just being around regular Americans and everything. Nothing wrong with that, but I lose a little bit of richness of myself if I do that. And my thing is, I assimilate fully to the laws of the United States, to the Constitution. I assimilate fully to, I would say, the language. I learned the language properly because I will not live in a country that I can't speak properly. These are the things that I think are fundamental to living in a country peacefully with the natives. And that's what I try to do in America. I don't want to be a disturbance, but at the same time, I cannot leave that part of me, that the Arabian side of me is always going to be there. I can't let it go. So does that mean that I should go back to my country because I still love Middle Eastern food? I still love our music. I still love my language, and I still keep my culture. Does that mean that I don't love America and I should go back to my country? I don't know. I don't know what that means. I just know that I love this country for its, the individuality, although it has gone to an extreme now. The individuality and individualism is to an extreme point at this state, and it's getting bad. It's not anything positive anymore with the individualism. In fact, it's turning into something that's crippling America. But I still love it for its individualism. You can be your own person. You can do what you want to a certain extent. You don't have those kind of barriers, those cultural barriers in America, because the culture in America is about being what you want or being what you feel or what have you. Now, like I said, it's gone to an extreme because now it's not just about what you want or what you feel. Now it's like, oh, if you feel like you're an ape, or if you feel like you're a zebra, or if you feel like you're a cat, you can be that. Or if you feel like you're you Bruce Jenner, if you feel like you're a girl and you're actually a top athlete, a top male athlete, but you feel like a girl, you can do that. And this is where it's getting too far. So I think having America, having people like us that come from conservative countries that come with these values is a balancing factor in America, because I believe that if America is allowed to be just fully free and la la la, it can get dangerous. It can get not beneficial, detrimental to the people, to the natives of this country. You need to have a balance. And I believe that people from conservative countries do try to bring that balance here to America. You guys can say if I'm wrong or not, but you know, I don't want to be racist, okay? But I need to say something. And I don't want you guys to take this wrong, but there is a group of people that I would love to see go back to their own origins, but who knows where their origins are? These people are the group of people that are in control of the money. They are in control of the banking. They're in control of Hollywood. They're in control of the media, everything that, basically everything that's becoming a problem here in America is being controlled by this group of people. And I wish that these people would take their souls back to their country. But we don't know where their country is, because the country in the Middle East that they've been assigned to is not their real country. But anyway, I'll move on from that. I'm going to leave my racism be, okay? But other than that, I don't believe that people should be forced to go back to their country just because they keep their language or so on. But you must learn English. I don't care what language you speak. If you're coming to America, you need to speak English. You need to speak the Queen's language. And I know we're not in England, but at the same time, we speak the same language, kind of. You need to speak English. You don't come to this country and expect that the rest of the world, the rest of America is going to put up signs in every other language. Why do I go to California and I have to read the signs in 3 languages? You seen that, Schizo? You go to California and the signs are all translated in Spanish. For what? This is not their country. That's my problem. That's where I have an issue, because that is getting to the point where you are not assimilating, but in fact, you're changing America to fit you. And that is not what we should allow. You come here, you speak the language. If you don't know how to learn the language, then you're dumb, and we don't need you here. We don't need dumb people who don't know how to speak a language that they live in the country of the language. You need to get out then. You need to go. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, Schizo. I went on a rant.
That was good. It hurts them not to learn the language, because if they want to move up, especially like in business, they can't have a translator. It costs more money to constantly have a translator. A lot of other people come and they try. Actually, maybe older people, but if you're fairly young and you were born, you got to learn. You got to try. Like, I even met older people that have come, like from the Philippines and stuff like that, and they've learned. They might struggle with a couple words, but every day they're trying to learn and get better.
Well, Americans struggle with the word because English is not an easy language, guys. I know you guys have grown up speaking the language, but English is not that easy of a language to learn, especially for people of certain countries. I believe Asian countries, for Asians, English is hard to learn. Arabs, no, English is easy for Arabs to learn because of certain grammatical, what is it word? Why can't I speak today, Schizo? It's a certain grammatical, I can't think of the word. It's a system, whatever. The way that the grammar is in English, it fits with Arabic. So for us, it's easy, but for Asian countries, it's hard to learn English. In English, even Americans struggle with it. I know it's a difficult language. And you guys need to be happy that you guys grew up speaking English, and you guys, it's easy for you. You guys need to be happy you don't have to learn it, because everybody in the world has to learn English, really, because it's the language of business. What else was I going to ask you? Schizo. Right. So did you hear about Meta releasing 10,000 North American workers?
Yeah, I saw that, and they basically want them to be home just in case somebody freaks out, and it still is not going to keep them from coming back to the office. I can see a lot of programmers, and a lot of them, they see the job as prestige. I'm a programmer. I'm making 6 figs. Even though in the area they living in, like San Francisco, 6 figs is like, oh, it's not really that much. But
It's really
programs, yeah. And the programs, they work a lot of hours just typing on computers. So those would be the
Yep.
people that might blow a fuse and come back because
Yeah.
they spend all day at working, and then immediately it's gone, their money's gone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, those are the people who are like, I'm fired.
Yes.
I'll be right back, sons of wenches. You're like, no, we don't need you to come back. I'll be right back. Oh, no. You know the worst thing a white man could say to you? Now, as Arabs, we hear this. The worst thing a white man can say to you is, over my dead body. You're like, oh, they are serious. Over my dead body, Jack. You're like, oh, that white man, you better move because when he comes back,
Yeah. I have my master's. I'm a PhD. You have to. You can't fire me.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. You're gone. We cutting corners.
Yes. Like, I come from a long line of family that's been working for this company. Over my dead body, you're gonna fire me. Oh goodness. Oh my god. And the worst thing I believe a white woman could say is, we're gonna take a trip down to the river. We're taking a trip. That scares the crap out of me. If a white woman ever tells me, we're gonna take a trip down to the river, would you like to come? Heck no. You take you and your 5 personalities and you guys have a great time. I'm not coming with you. Yeah. But anyway, because I've noticed that a lot of people, when they speak about Arabs, they say that the worst thing an Arab could say is Allah Akbar. You hear us say Allah Akbar around you, people start running. And the crazy thing is we say Allah Akbar so many times in the day. We get happy, we say Allah Akbar. I have seen people scoot away from me because me and my family are speaking and we're just, someone says, oh, Miriam just had a baby. We're like, Allah Akbar. I have seen people scoot away. As soon as I said Allah Akbar, they're like,
that's the power of movies. That's the power of movies and influence. Because the first time you hear it, but I think I've been.
I see you, Mr. Renegade.
Yeah, I told you I've been to Kuwait, I've been to Qatar and stuff like that. The more you hear it and you know what the word means, it starts to bother you. But if you haven't been around it, you don't hear it, and the only thing the idea comes from is the movies.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's what that comes
so for them, they think it's a word of war. Allahu Akbar. They think that means the only sound that follows is boom.
Yeah.
No. And then okay, let me see. Mr. Renegade, how are you? Let me bring you in here. Come on, Mr. Renegade. How are you today?
I'm good. How you doing?
Doing good. Can you turn off the TV in the background? Or turn
Okay.
it
I'm
down
sorry.
at least?
I'll put it on mute. Give me a second.
Thank you.
Where's the freaking mute button?
For you, it may not sound loud, but when you come onto the panel, it's loud
Right.
for us,
I got you. Yeah.
So do you have anything to say on the conversation with Chaotic about the whole Arab Spring and all of that? Do you have anything on that, or do you want to speak about the Allah Akbar?
No, I actually didn't see the chaotic stream, but and as far as politics are concerned, the only thing I've seen political last couple weeks, because I don't watch the news, I don't think I've seen political that I saw interesting was the Congress had a party line vote on the banning of the transgenders in female sports.
Oh, I saw that. Go on.
And I saw that all Republicans voted for the ban and all Democrats voted against it. So I found that very interesting.
Yeah. It makes you wonder, do they really all think the same, or is there some kind of a pact that they have to say that no matter what you may think, you need to vote this way? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a bunch of rabbit holes we can go down with this political shit in this country. Everything really.
Listen, with all of the okay, I've seen more and more people coming out against this whole transgender debacle. I've seen a lot more people coming out against it, including transgenders themselves. And it almost makes me think, is this agenda being crumbled, or is it being divided, or is it being slowly eroded, or is this just a ploy for the 2024 elections to make it seem like they're being attacked so that their community can get stronger? Because you understand, when a community feels like they're being under attack, they get tighter. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I guess as we get closer to the election, we'll see. We'll start to see more and more things. Or we can just go on TikTok where everybody knows everything, you know. So I don't know. I don't know. Like that's why I don't get into this political climate too much, because it's a headache, you know. So I don't know. Don't really have nothing to say about it too much. So I'm just here for support, you know.
Let me ask you this. So you saw what they were saying about people who don't assimilate in the United States. If you don't assimilate fully, you need to go back to your country. A person like myself, I gave you the example. I love America, but at the same time, I still keep my traditions. I still keep my language. I still keep these things. But I make sure that I speak proper English, and I make sure that I still follow the Constitution of the United States of America. A person who doesn't assimilate fully, do you believe that they should go back to their country if they miss it so much?
No, I don't believe so. I mean, they're here. Everybody comes here for their own reasons. I don't think you should be. I mean, I don't think a person has to be fully Americanized, you know, do things the way we do. The one thing I do agree with, though, is that you need to learn English as best you can. That way you can survive in this country. Just like me, if I would have moved to Mexico, hell, I was in South Texas down in Laredo. I used to live there. And let me tell you,
I was just in Laredo.
Yeah. I thought I was in Mexico because everybody there spoke Spanish. And I'm like, well, shit, I need to learn Spanish if I'm going to be down here, you know,
But you do not do that. See, those are the places like in California where you see the signs are all translated from English and Spanish and English. That is nonsense. You don't see, listen, you know what? Let me take that back. I'll take that back because I have seen in China that they translate the Chinese characters into English words. But I think the difference there is that English is such a universal language that it doesn't really count the same as them pandering to Americans. It is the universal language that people learn, that you can go to any country in the world and you can speak English. Now, in this country of English speakers, I do not believe that we should accommodate every other language just because the people there speak it or they don't want to learn it. They don't want to learn English. I don't believe that Americans should be that accommodating. There used to be a time when Americans were very proud to have their American flag flying and to speak the language that they speak, and told other people, speak English, you're in America. If you say that today, people are like, oh, look at you, you xenophobe, you don't, you know, it's like, what do you think? Am I wrong for saying that Americans should be less tolerant of that?
I don't think there should be no uproar about it, because as far as I know, English to this day, I don't think English is considered the official language of America, or North America, I guess.
How dare you? Let's get Mr. Renegade up out of here. I can't believe he said that. Did you hear that, Schizo? Did you hear Mr. Renegade? I'm disappointed in you, Mr. Renegade.
No,
How
for
can
real
you
though.
say that?
No, for real. No, I said they don't consider, not me. But look it up though. I don't think it's considered the official language of America. Like seriously.
Listen, but that is a problem. That is a problem, though. You understand that? If that's true, I mean, I have heard that. And someone was saying that Canada has French on things. There's a difference because Canada. Hold on, Samuel, 1 second. Because the difference is that in Canada, weren't they dominated by the French for a minute? Weren't they? Yeah.
Yep.
Well, the
Founded
eastern
by it.
side of it. Oh, found it. There you go. Okay, I'm sorry. Go on, Samuel.
That is true. The English is not. There is no official language for the United States of America. There's nothing on the books about that now, because the majority of the people who founded this country and built this country spoke English. It was generally accepted that it was, and because most of us do speak English, you know, we generally expect newcomers to learn English as well, because it is the nation of. It is the language of trade. It is the language of custom. It is the language of communication in the United States. But you're right. It's not officially, you know, on any government document as the official language.
Right.
And that's a bunch of nonsense. That's a bunch of rubbish, because like what other language would be the official language of America?
Well, we don't have one.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
But I'm saying there is no other competitor. There's no other option. Does that make sense? Like there's no other language other than Spanish you could say, but the majority of Americans don't speak Spanish, aren't even close to speaking Spanish. So it's English. There should be no
Right.
fight about that.
I agree with you. I think that it should have been ratified at some point, but it wasn't. It never was. Regarding the Canadian issue, all of Canada is forced to bow to the whims of a single province, the Quebecois demand, because they refuse to accept English as the sole official language of their country. They basically forced Parliament to implement that all signs, all missives, all everything have to be printed in both French and English.
Well, that's part of the reason why I think Canadians are way too pushovers. They're pushovers.
Yeah, they won't
I
stand
know
up for the frogs.
the Canadians hate me. I know the Canadians in the chat hate me because I keep talking about you guys like that. But listen, I'm not talking about you personally. I'm talking about your country. Okay, there's a difference. Okay, hear me out. They're pushovers. They're pushovers. Sorry. And you guys can disagree. That's fine. But I said what I said. I meant what I said, and I'll say it again.
You know I don't disagree about Canada.
But the thing is, we should have Canadians. Canadians still haven't stood up to the Queen, and now she's dead. The Queen is dead, but
ding ding.
They still haven't. They still haven't stood up to the British to take these people off of their money. You need to put Canadians on your money. Well, I think they do have Canadians on some of their money.
They've got to recall a bunch of it and reprint a bunch of it now because they got to put the face of King Chuck on there. They're still part of the
Oh goodness, really? So they have to update their money every time there's a new king or queen?
Yep. So does Australia.
Wow. See, I'm so glad Americans, we don't have that problem. Lou, she says Canadians do have a great sense of humor. Well, they have to have something, because if you can't stand up to the other people, you need to be at least able to laugh about it, right? I know, you guys, I see it already. I can already see Boa is already throwing stuff at the computer. He hates me now. I know, because Boa is our Canadian in chief here. So I'm sorry, guys, but that's just the way I feel about Canada. I did like Canada. I like that it looks very European. Like, I used to live in Liverpool, and when I go to Canada, it looks like Liverpool to me. It looks like Britain, UK. It looks like the UK. Let me see. What do you guys have to say about tonight and what's going on? I know there's a fight going on right now, and I know that a lot of people are looking at the fight right now instead of here. So what do you guys have to say? Is there any update on the fight?
Is it a boxing match?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't care for boxing, honestly.
Yeah.
I wasn't following it myself.
I didn't know. One thing I can say, how you're saying that there is a lot of like agendas coming up for the next presidential election. I didn't know if you want to stay on that, but I think a lot of people need to start paying attention to other things that's going on. For instance, the thing that happened in Chicago with all the teens and stuff, parents really need to talk to their teenagers, because all of this stuff is being allowed to happen to make it seem like the country's unsafe, which it is. There's a lot of rooting and that, but I mean, there's parts of the country it's not really bad. But over time, eventually, it's going to be like a wave comes through and the police going to just start locking people up. And I would say like the biggest things, well, I'll just focus just on one thing because I can bounce around. In the case where all the teens were in Chicago and they're doing the teen takeover, that could have been easily resolved with tear gas. I know people are not going to like this, especially being a black person. But
did he just say that?
Yeah.
So smooth too.
And kept on going. Kept on going with the conversation.
With tear gas and sound grenades, because the kids need to know you cannot do that. You need to leave. You don't need to arrest nobody, but have like a consequence for you doing that. They would have went home. Someone would have went home. They could go home, but some people I know. Well, some of the reason why some of them kids are out there because they don't want to go home because their home life is probably messed up. But some of them are just out there. But it would have been a consequence to that action. If teens don't have consequences, they just gonna do it again. Oh, we gonna make it bigger. We're gonna do it, and it just seems like something fun to do.
But Schizo, I think you hit the nail on the head. Their home life is less than ideal, and that's part of the reason they're out there in the first place. They had no discipline.
Hey, let me ask a question. Were they protesting something?
No.
It was so they're just being they're just being a bunch of jackasses, basically. Well, they
TikTok.
ain't the word I want to say. I want to say something else, but I'm not gonna say it on this channel. But yeah,
Social media teen takeover. They go on social media, we're gonna take over, and it's like so all the teens go.
hey, I'm ex-military. I'm all about the tear gas, the bats, batons, whatever you want to use, even your own car. Hell, I would have. Let me shut
Beanbag rounds.
Yeah, let me be quiet, because
Guys, I have some news.
Okay.
I have some news. I just saw it right now. Kennewick, Washington. A middle school teacher has been arrested for allegedly sending sexually explicit videos of herself to students under the age of 16. The Kennewick School District officials have confirmed that the teacher, who police have identified as a 43-year-old white woman, has been suspended and has been told to have no contact with the students. Now, another thing that she was doing was she's a physical education teacher. She was also making the children play a game where they had a clear glass border. What is that? What is the word for that?
Partition.
Partition, right. A clear partition between her and the students. And she would make them come to the partition and lick whipped cream off of the partition, and basically to the point where it looked like they were kissing, but there's a partition in between, but they were essentially kissing and making out with whipped cream on the partition. And she was suspended for this.
Suspended?
It says only suspended. They said, we take this situation seriously, and our administration is working diligently to take the strongest possible action to ensure that our schools are safe for children, which is absolute rubbish, because if they were actually doing something, that person would be actually in jail. But she did go to jail. She has been charged with 3 felony accounts of communication with a minor for immoral purposes and booked into Benton County Jail before being released on a $15,000 bond. She has recently posted bail, I believe, a few days ago. Wow. Oh,
she still has her job too, though. She's just suspended.
Send the asteroid.
There's an update. She even after getting in trouble, she was sending students nude Snapchat photos of herself. Here we go. Let's see. So the update is that she has posted bail. And this is just absolute trash. I'm going to share this screen with you guys so you guys can see what she looks like. So you guys can see what these people look like. The people who we are trusting our kids with, the ones that are touching our children, you can get an idea of what they look like. Here we go. This is her. 43-year-old woman. Her name is Toni Raybolt. Physical education teacher and math teacher at Horsehaven Middle School. She's been there since 2003, and she's still trying to keep contact with her students through Snapchat and sending them nude pictures. Now, why would children want a nude picture of this? Tell me that. Why would they want a nude picture? And you know, these are the women, and you know, you're right, Barry. Chronically lonely, attention-seeking women that just can't get anyway.
She was a physical education teacher, you said?
She was.
So does that mean that she was watching kids shower too?
You know what? Possibly. Larry says, yep, and a trans teacher threatened to shoot his or her students and got caught. Don't call it his or her, Larry. Call it it. Little Poet Boy says that she's a hard 6. I mean, you're being kind of graceful there. I wouldn't give her a 6. I would give her about a 5. She's about a 5 to me.
4.
You know, she looks average. Well, she's wearing, I don't know if she's wearing makeup, but she's not, you know, and the thing is, listen, why do these women think that children, teenagers, want to see her naked? What made her think, oh my gosh, look at myself in the mirror. You wake up every morning, go to work, like, look at myself. I'm sure the kids are just dying to see my saggy tea bags on Snapchat.
It didn't start that way. You know, it started with like little comments here and there, little suggestions, maybe a touch on the shoulder, and it worked up to that point. It did not start that way. She groomed those fucking kids.
Yeah. It just shows this moral, and that's why I say just jail. Just it doesn't really serve the okay. So you go to jail, but it is also the effect that can happen on the children too, because I just get the idea if the children are spending that time with an older woman like that, and then if they get around young girls their age, what could happen? But I don't want to go too deep into that. But it's just sad moral demise. And she looked like she could get a she looked like she could get a date. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of else. I mean, she can go to the bar and just hang out. She can find somebody. Somebody's gonna come up to her.
Well, honestly, like teenage boys, and Boa and Carrie both made this point, but and they're right. Teenage boys don't care necessarily what it looks like as long as it's female. They're hormonal. They don't see anything past that. So, you know, but even then, it's still statutory. It's still wrong. She should not have been doing that. But yeah, no, the teenage boys will fucking meat grinder if they think it'll, you know.
I mean, I don't know. And then the other news that I have here is Portland. They're having a stable housing crisis. So here, I'm going to pull this up. I'll share it with you guys if I think that it's worthy. So they're saying the problems that are happening right now is, number one, Oregonians don't have a place to call home. Number two, working families aren't making enough to afford decent housing. And number three, seniors, people with disabilities, and others who live on fixed incomes must choose between paying for rising housing costs or paying for their prescription drugs. Now, I think that they're being very, very generous with those reasonings, because that is not, in my view, the main reason why there's this housing issues, or why people aren't finding places to live or being able to pay rent. I think this has to do with the worker shortages. I mean, not that there's employment shortages. There's employment everywhere, but there's a worker shortage because people are demanding to get paid way more than what their labor is worth. But that's what the inflation did, right? That's what inflation is. That's what's happened. And now you see in Portland, they're trying to clean up the tents, but the Portland left, they are protesting in the streets saying that they should not clean up those tents and that they should let people live in those tents because they have nowhere else to go. Now, where do we get as a country where we just allow that low bar and say, oh, leave them alone, they don't have anywhere to go, instead of forcing them to get up off of that tent and go do something so they don't live there? Instead, we're just trying to say, let them be, let them stay. It's cruel to take them out of their tents. You don't know. You taking them out of that tent might be the best thing that ever happened to them, because it forced them to go do something else. And maybe they actually find a better opportunity, better housing, better, I don't know. Am I wrong to expect more from people? Am I wrong for doing that?
I mean, they had to spend more money to even get them out the tents to make them do something. So as long as they're there, they don't have to worry about any spending, I guess.
Well,
BTK.
Well,
BTK says that she's the option at 4 a.m. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm done.
Well, I would say some of those people are helpful. Some people might have just lost their home because of the rise in price with inflation, and I can talk about that. That's one of the worst things our Congress does to us is inflation. But with the housing, it's not just the rising housing costs, is what they're building too. Because even out here, where I live at, the new housing that they're building is all like $500,000 houses and stuff. I mean, they are building apartment complexes as well. And also people with due to the inflation, if they don't know how to manage their money and they don't know how to properly plan and see how all of it is going to affect them, it could cause issues. Is my mic kind of echoey? I gotta
no.
It's not.
No, you're fine.
Okay, but yeah, that's like one of the biggest things. And also being in that city, I would think they should just try to find people that they possibly could help, that wants help, work with those people. But you gotta really try to examine who can I help, who just lost their job, and because they lost their job, that's why they're out on the street, and who has just chosen to stay on the street and put that effort. That way you're not wasting money. And also the city needs to control that money as well to make sure that the people that's supposed to be helping aren't just taking the money.
You bring up a good point with the, oh, hi, GB. Hi, Caucasian Sasquatch. How are you guys? You bring up a good point about the fact that they're making new properties, they're making things, but everything costs $1 million because now, because of the price of lumber, the prices of labor, everything that you make is going to be $1 million and up, and it's everything that's new anyway. And everything that's old is going to be the need replacements and renovations and all of that. So it's like, I don't know. Do you guys have anything else on the Caucasian Sasquatch GB? Do you guys have anything on the whole chaotic stream or on what we're speaking about now or whatever you want to speak about? I'm open to everything. Go on.
Well, there's two sides to this equation, and only one of us can reproduce.
What does that have to do, Mr. Sasquatch? What does that have to do with what we're speaking about here, sir?
As far as the transgender thing, as far as the whole leftist narrative and how they're trying to just basically recruit absolutely anyone that doesn't have enough of a brain to rub two brain cells together. These people aren't going out and dating with the intention of starting a family and expanding their influence through classical means, as it were, traditional values and whatnot. They are doing the exact opposite. These people are getting hysterectomies at 15 because they don't want to damage the planet. And this is not a growth curve. The only growth that can take place on that side is if they recruit your children or recruit immigrants. That's it.
And that's what's happening. We see that happening, Caucasian Sasquatch. We see it happening right now. And another thing about that, what you're speaking about, is that they make everyone feel guilty. They make the new generation feel guilty for even existing, to question why their parents even let them be born, because they are producing gases. They're producing, methane or whatever gases that they're talking about. And now I have seen, this is, you know what? You have a good point, Sasquatch, because so many kids today I've gone to the school board meetings, even though I get kicked out every time I go, but I've gone to them, spoken to students. I do get kicked out. You guys saw what happened last time. Anyway, I go to them, I speak to students, and the students are always saying, I've seen an uptick of students saying, yeah, I'm not having kids, and these are girl students, female students saying, I'm not having kids. I said, why? They're like, I said, why, you don't want to be married? They're like, well, I don't know about marriage, but at the same time, even if I wasn't married, if I wanted to have a kid, I don't have to be married to have a kid. And then they continue to say, and anyway, having kids today just doesn't seem right. Look how much war is in the world, and look how much pollution is out there, and so on and so forth. I sit and I tell them, shut your mouth. Shut your mouth, because your parents and your grandparents had you when there was more war in the world, and they still brought you up. They were poorer than you are, and they still brought you up. They had less than you have, and they still brought you up. So I don't want to hear nothing about no war, about anything else. And this is what the children are being taught in schools, because children did not come up on these ideas by themselves. No child just sits there and says, you know what? There's a lot of gases in the world. I'm going to, come on.
What you're
Here
saying
comes the strip club story hours.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Yes, sir.
Basically, what's happening is a culture of fear. So truth is pushed aside. Fear is at the forefront. Most people know the truth, at least the adults, but we're too scared. So if you talk too much about the truth, you can get fired, lose your job. You can pretty much become an exile from society. So most people just
sounds like the story of my life.
That's how it works. So they just be quiet. They want to get paid. They want to go home. They're hoping this thing will just pass away, but it doesn't. It just gets worse. So the children are fearful of having a family because they think the world's gonna end. They think it's gonna be like chaos, and they have courage. You can't do anything.
My question is to you, GB. What do you think is going to be the world in, 30 years? When this generation grows up and they, you know what I mean? What is the world going to be in 20, 30 years from now? Go ahead.
Have you seen Idiocracy?
I haven't. I've heard of it. I've heard it's amazing. But
you need to see. It's a prophetic dream. synthetic fever dream of Twitter and TikTok and Facebook and all of that. Just watch it
Is
without.
Lou still here? If Lou is still here, Lou, put a comment, please, because I need to ask you something if you're still here. But no, I need to watch Idiocracy. I do need to watch it because I've heard about it and I heard it was prophetic and it's basically what we're facing today, where everything is upside down. You know, black is white, you know, poor is rich. Everything is just upside down.
It's basically a show of everyone's dumbed down. So even the smartest person, like of their time, will be the idiot of our current time. So it's an absolutely, and it kind of matches what's happening. We're purposely being dumbed down. The students are purposely being dumbed down.
Oh, it's accurately prophetic. Yeah.
It's doing exactly what it's meant to do. It's not a failure. It's doing exactly what it's meant to do. Man, like John Dewey, like you have to study the origin of the public school system. When you start checking the origin of these things, you understand it's not a failure. It's completely doing what it's meant to do.
It's also prophetic in the version of direct democracy we're falling into.
Yeah, that's
You get what I'm
I'd say that's
saying?
probably accurate.
I mean, they basically just vote to see if you're guilty, vote to see if you go to get the job, vote to see if you cross the street. It's a direct democracy using technology.
Technology that at that point no one understands. Yeah.
Can y'all see that with chat with the chat? Was it Chat PTG, the AI that can they can write like set for like learning how to do something. You can just ask them and they just tell you what to do. Some people will still want to learn, but some people, I don't have to learn this. I can just add chat. I can ask the AI. It's going to tell me what the truth is. Sort of like Google, but just over time it gets more advanced.
It's literally Google, and the thing is, people. Okay, do you guys remember when Google was first a thing, and people were like, "Oh my gosh, Google is amazing. If you have any questions, you can just go to Google." And people didn't realize until just like I want to say 7 years ago that Google is highly biased and highly rigged. You know, any if I try to look up anything about, you know, let's say Operation Mockingbird or what have you, Operation Paperclip, all of these things are considered conspiracies and this is not true and everything. And it's like the things that are actually fake are seen as real on Google. I have seen it on Google. Things that are really actually fake, they put it as truth. And I'm like, this is the dumbing down, like you said, the dumbing down, but it's also indoctrination.
Yeah,
and that is what school is right now.
It's worth noting that the Google company or Alphabet that owns them or whatever, when they got taken over, I think in 2013, 2014, they used to have as part of their charter, as part of Google's company charter, one of the very first rules that they had that was in there was don't be evil. And in 2013, 2014, that just disappeared from the charter, which is around the time that they started going crazy.
I want to show you guys something. I'm going to share this with you. It's a clip from Thomas Sowell, and he was speaking about schools. And I think this is it's a very good topic for us to watch really quickly. Okay, here we go.
American education would be comic if it were not so tragic in its consequences. Recently, I received a letter from a school teacher asking for an autographed picture for his class because it would ultimately, ultimately, help his students to have me as a role model, ROLL.
Wow.
Atypical? Let us hope so. But a few years ago, a study showed the average verbal scholastic aptitude test score for aspiring teachers to be 389 out of a possible 800. With American school children repeatedly finishing at or near the bottom on international test comparisons, the response of the education establishment has been to seek ever more non-academic adventures to go off on. Among the latest of these innovations, a magic word in the wonderland of educational newspeak, is called outcome-based education. Like so many of the catchphrases that come and go, it means nothing like what it seems to mean. Education based on outcomes might sound to many people like finally creating a bottom line for schools, teachers, and administrators to be judged by. Nothing of the sort. It is yet another way of getting away from academic work and indulging in psychological and ideological indoctrination. This is called advancing beyond rote learning and teaching school children to think. Many in the media gullibly repeat such phrases without the slightest investigation of what concretely they mean in practice. When concrete specifics leak out, there is often shock, as there currently is in California.
You see this, and I think California is such a like they're using guinea pig. It's like a guinea pig. It's like a experiment of what they can do with the children and what they can do with society. California is the pastry. What is that called, guys? The scientific pastry, not pastry.
Test case.
Petri dish.
Petri dish. There you go. California is the scientific petri dish when it comes to social issues and social change. And this is what we're seeing in California. And they're perverting the children just to see what happens, and dumbing them down and teaching them what to think instead of teaching them how to think.
I don't think they're doing it just to dumb them down. I think they're trying to confuse them as much as, hold on, let me let you see me so you understand I'm serious. They want to confuse the children as much as possible so that the children don't have any idea what to do when they become adults. And they have no choice but to go to the government and say, please help me, do something for me. Go
That's
govern.
True. It used to be about teaching children how to use their brains. Instead, it's filling the children's brains with what they need to know to get them to the government, to get them back to the government. Let's finish this video.
Intruding into students' family lives and sexual experiences, among other things. The parents who first protested were predictably labeled the religious right, but now even some in the educational establishment itself have begun to express concern. Not long before, parents in Connecticut who objected to film strips of naked couples engaged in sex, both homosexual and heterosexual, being shown in the local junior high school, were labeled fundamentalists and right-wing extremists, even though they were in fact affluent Episcopalians. There are all sorts of prepackaged responses to critics of the public schools, of which this was just one. Recently, I got a first-hand dose of these stereotyped responses when addressing a class of students who were being trained for careers as teachers. They seemed disconcerted by the questions I put to them. Suppose you are wrong. How would you know? How would you test for that possibility? The very thought that the dogmas they were repeating with such fervor might be open to question or subject to evidence seemed never to have occurred to them. This was a far more ominous sign than their merely being wrong on particular beliefs. How can they teach anybody else to think if they themselves have not reached this elementary level of logic? By thinking, too many educators today mean teaching children to reject traditions in favor of their own emotional responses.
Yes.
Objections to such propaganda programs are called objections to letting children think. Anything less than a blank check for indoctrination is called censorship. In light of such non-academic activities in our public schools, it can hardly be surprising that American youngsters do so badly on academic tests administered to youngsters around the world.
Well, because in America, there is no absolute. You guys have seen that. There is no absolute in America. There is only options, and, everything is on a spectrum, no?
Y'all remember what Stalin said? Get them while they're young, and the possibilities are endless.
The whole purpose of Common Core is to figure out what the lowest common denominator in the grade is and teach to that, so that more people pass and more people advance, but they don't actually learn anything useful.
Well, guys, just a quick thing. If you remember, the origin of public school, how it started, was for fatherless children who didn't have any fathers in the home. was an experiment for them to get the lowest of them to learn some basic understanding. It was done in the Christian setting and eventually went to public school setting. The number one thing for education is truth. Without truth, you can't get education. You can only get indoctrinated. So the first thing they did was get rid of God in the school. And then subjective morality becomes the norm. So no more moral right or wrong. If right or wrong doesn't exist, everything can shift. And so we get into this far place now that a man can be a woman and a woman can be a man, and up is down and down is up. There is no anchor anymore.
You know what
So
else I've been
everything's
watching, you guys? You know what else I've been watching? I've been watching plenty of videos of teachers that are quitting and why they're quitting. Here, I'll share one with you guys
getting
here.
bad.
I'll share one more with you guys. This is a teacher who has recently retired, but not retired, she quit. And I'm going to show you guys the reasons that she gave. Now, this is a very short, it's like a minute long. Here we go.
Wish I knew about teaching. Number one, students are completely out of control. On any given day, students are cursing, fighting, cheating, and much worse. Number two, there's little to no discipline for unruly students. If we're lucky, they'll fill out a think sheet while sitting in a safe seat. Number three, learning isn't valued. When kids think they can access everything on the internet, they feel no reason to study. Number four, parents are uncooperative. A lot of them like to fight and argue with teachers more than their kids do. Number five, there's a huge climate of fear. Everybody is terrified of getting in trouble, except the students. Number six, it's highly political. 2020 is all I'll say about that one. Number seven, there is an obsession with data and mountains of paperwork. We have to document everything, even if nobody's ever going to look at it. Number eight, unstable methodologies. Nobody can seem to agree what good teaching is, so we get conflicting rules multiple times a year. That means number nine, creativity is gone. And number 10, because of all of those things, respect is gone. And this is why teachers are quitting. Things I wish I
So she is a teacher and she quit, and these are the reasons why she quit. And that's why I said the respect factor is probably one of the biggest reasons, because, you know, everybody is scared in the school except the students. Everybody is scared except students of getting in trouble.
Well, as generations advance, they're getting more and more into technology. The parents are getting younger. They're more liberal and carefree about things like discipline and structure in general. So that's my take on
You
it.
got it.
Well,
Oh,
I
go
think
ahead.
that you're partly right there, Mr. Renegade. I think that in terms of discipline over generations, each successive generation since like the boomers has thought that the discipline that they received at the hands of their parent was too extreme, so they lessened it for the next generation until we're at a point now where any discipline at all is regarded as child abuse. So we just don't do it because you never know. You get terrified. You're like, I want to teach this kid a lesson because he needs a damn lesson. But God forbid he say something to a neighbor or a teacher or something like that. And I end up going to jail and losing my kid because the kid needed a swat on the butt.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean,
You can't do that.
I'm the seed of baby boomers myself, and I got my ass whooped when I did wrong, and I'm still
As did
here,
I.
no scratches. You know, matter of fact, hell,
Yeah, same here.
I mean, yeah, it's ridiculous, man. Like, I mean, when has a child ever gotten disciplined, gotten a spanking, and died from it? You know, or
Yeah,
been
no.
permanently damaged or whatever. I've gotten
That's
pouts in school.
that's
Then I
abuse
came home and got
versus
my ass whooped
discipline.
again. You know, it's. I'm just saying, I've been through that in 20 years of military, and I'm still here, still functioning. But
Sure.
yeah,
Sure.
you're
But
right though, man.
you know, yeah, but generationally, you know, it does get lessened because each generation has conditioned itself to view the previous generation as too harsh, too hard, which is not in fact the case. Like I think we can agree on that. I'm Gen X. I'm young Gen X, but I'm Gen X. So my parents were boomers. Well, one of them was boomer, one of them
Shout
was
out.
kind of
Gen
lost
X, baby.
generation. But you know, and they you know, yeah, I got my ass beat as a kid. You know, I got my own kids now through circumstances are with their mother who is also Gen X, and she went the complete opposite direction. Like her parents treated her and her siblings harshly. She disciplines nothing.
Yeah.
You know?
And you know, that's
You know-
another thing that I say about discipline. I even say that about women. And I know I'm going to lose a few of you by saying this, but I even said that women have not been disciplined either. I mean, in marriages and even just in society, women get no discipline, no forms of discipline at all, no forms of consequences. And this is part of the reason why you see women are out of control and they're teaching the children to be out of control. The majority of children that you see that are bad, or the majority of criminals that you see, come from single mother household. Single fathers actually raise better children.
Well, and my fear is not so much that, I mean, obviously I think that kids should be disciplined. I think they should learn discipline and you know, that sort of thing, because I think it lends itself to every other aspect of their life. And without that, they lack the skills to survive. And that's my main concern. These next couple of generations, they're going to die off just due to sheer incompetence.
Builds character. It's character building.
The school system solved.
Switches, extension cords, shoes.
I was just fixing to ask.
Whatever, man. It all worked.
Get your own switch.
Yeah, man, it all worked.
Hey, if you mentioned that, I want to show you something too. You guys can talk, you can chat, but I'm going to show you something since you mentioned that.
The school system, right, guys? If you take a look at how it's set up, it's set up and designed for the Industrial Revolution to push out perfectly cookie cutter workers, not creative thinkers, not people who are actually critical thinkers, not of that nature. The very environment itself, sit down all day, basically. Maybe you move at a bell you move all the time. It destroys the spirit of the child. Now that if you look in the classroom, unfortunately, it's mostly also female. How many male teachers did you have growing up?
Shit.
It was about 70-30 split, female 70, male 30.
30. It's really heavily female environment.
Here we go. Let me show you guys this really quickly before we move on. This is old school grandma bringing out the, as they call it, switch. I learned what a switch was, but here we go.
You think I'm playing, but I'm not playing.
I know you.
All right, kids in trouble.
Oh, here we go.
Whoop her ass.
Sorry, grandmama. I didn't mean to.
Bad, your mama's
No, he made me do it. It wasn't mine.
Be quiet for a second.
Not to do it, and you shouldn't do it. Okay.
Did you guys hear it?
Yeah.
So I'll play it one more time because you can't.
And you too. Your stack of weird, I'm not gonna kill them, not gonna do anything. So y'all take these switches home, but I'll use them in here if I have to.
One more time.
Use them. You think I'm playing, but I'm not playing.
I know you're not, and I thank you for picking them for me.
And honestly, goodness. Yes, this is a switch. And when you be bad, your mama's gonna put this on you. When she tell you not to do something, she means not to do it. And you shouldn't do it. Okay?
You say yes, ma'am.
And you too. Your stack of weird, I'm not gonna kill them, not gonna do anything. So y'all take these switches home, but I'll use them in here if I have to.
We need this. We need this to come back.
Hell
It's
yeah.
considered shallow.
And it wasn't, I think it was 10% the words and 90% that switch that they saw. It was like, you know what, let me sit my little ass down and be good, you know.
What is word without actual consequences? Even the police officer will warn you, but without the actual gun, the word mean nothing. Ultimately, all speech has to be backed up by actions. So for us to have a sense of order and discipline, in even the school environment, which I highly suggest you homeschool your children, but even in that environment, after word is being ignored, discipline must proceed. It just has to, or else your word mean nothing. It's pointless. You're wasting your breath.
Just really quickly, I want to give a shout out to the super chats or the cash apps because I don't have super chat anymore. Thank you so much, BTK, for the $5 cash app. He says for
He says for Amira, one for the collection plate. I appreciate it. This isn't church, okay? This is not church. And then thank you
In
again.
a way,
BTK.
it is.
I appreciate that. It's another one from BTK. He says for the gangster life, for my gangster life. Thank you so much. I'm gonna get some bullets with that money. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate the support. Okay, go on, guys. Sorry about that.
Does it make y'all? I don't know how many of you have children up here.
I
Does
do.
it? Okay. Does all of this make you reconsider having more kids if you were planning to do so?
Well, I haven't been planning on having more kids. I'm divorced, and I'm not in a position to provide more young children with a stable place to live at this point in time, kind of thing. But if I ever end up in that position again, I think I don't think that it would make me reconsider that. If I wanted more kids at that point in my life, I would have the kids.
Okay. I was just curious.
I do have children, and
yeah.
if I could have more, well, the situation right now, not a financial place to get them. But regardless of what, I said definitely have much children you can, because if you don't have children, you have no future. It's how you raise the children is the problem, not having them.
Finances, the school system, and these trash ass women out here. It's like that's what makes me reconsider. I have one son, and he's 24. So I was like, well, shit, I don't know. I'm 40. I'm 42. He's 24. I don't know if. I mean, I'm capable of raising a child, but
sure.
Do I want to?
If you have no,
I'm old school, so I'm not gonna be like out at the grocery store, like, hey, I'm gonna put you in the corner. No, fuck that. I'm hitting your ass in the store, and I don't care who pulls their phone out and sees it. I don't care nothing about that. If you want to call the police, and you call them and tell them to take them with you and raise you themselves, because I'm not gonna let a stranger with a badge tell me how to raise my kids. I'm not.
Yeah, that I can respect. I think for me, the biggest concern is that the older I get, the more concerned I am that I will not be there to see them grow to adulthood.
Facts.
Well, the difference is people see a father giving a proper spanking to a child. I don't think anyone sees that as abusive. If you see a father turn his child around and, hit him on the rear end or, on the legs or something like that, I don't think anyone is going to say, oh my God, look at that abuse. But there's a difference between backhanding your kid in the head in the store versus turning them around and giving them a pop or what have you.
I think it's kind of changing though. The generation behind, well, my generation, millennials, and the generation behind me, Gen Z, they have a very more different mindset altogether. They're very different from Gen X and the boomers. So they will actually see many of that as even possibly abuse. They've been trained from school, anything, any physical whatsoever, it's abuse automatically, even if it's meant to correct a child. But it's not the two main factors is really holding anybody who wants to have children is having a good wife, a virtuous woman, number one. That is a scarce thing. It's really, really hard to find. And the laws, if things should ever not be in your favor, the laws will come on you multiple ways. So maybe leave the country. I don't know. Maybe the best place to go is somewhere else other than the United States of America or Canada or Western countries.
My question would be then, where would you say is better?
Anywhere where basically marriage is actually upheld properly, and a man has the right to lead his home according to how he sees fits, and build his family with him having full authority and responsibility for that family. Wherever that is, go there.
Okay, fair enough.
You know what? I really thank you guys. I thank you, men, conservative men, for speaking and just being real and being here. And I appreciate you guys very, very much, because I think people do need to see men actually speaking about these issues, about children, the women, the society. It's important, and that's why I love my channel, because yes, it is nice to have a channel of women too, but I believe that women are a little bit more I don't know the word, deceptive about things, you know what I mean, where they just won't say the truth, or they just try to defend the nonsense more than men. men tend to be a little bit more outright blunt about it and say this is right and this is wrong and that's it. You know, there is no in between, there is no gray area. And I appreciate that so very much. I'm going to go now because it is almost 10:30 and I need to get ready for bed. But thank you all for being with me tonight. Richard says this is one of the best panels I've ever had, and I agree. I really appreciate this group of men speaking like men do. I appreciate that.
About
Yeah.
to start crying?
I'm not.
She's a gangster.
I'm a gangster.
I
I've
can do a
never let
Southern
anyone see me
Baptist if
cry.
you'd like.
I don't want to let you guys see me cry. I'm a gangster, like I said. So I appreciate you guys so much. Have a good night, men on the panel, and I'm going to finish addressing the rest. All right.
Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Good night, everyone.
So much, GB. Thank you so
Good
much,
night,
Mr.
everybody.
Renegade. Thank you,
Night.
Caucasian Sasquatch. Thank you, Mr. Renegade. Guys, I hope you guys have enjoyed the conversation, and I know it wasn't as mean, it's not as bad as sometimes it can be. Thank you, Catherine. Buenas noches. Yeah, I don't know why I'm feeling emotional. It's just something about it. I mean, I'm very appreciative. You know, we have to appreciate what we have, and I appreciate my group of people that I have, and yeah, hearing them speak it's a beautiful thing. So, right, I will see you guys on the next one. We might have a stream during the week because there are some things coming up, and I don't want to get behind. Larry just had his cub. The baby has been born. It's a beautiful girl cub, and she looks like me, of course. You know, I'm joking, but she's beautiful. She's very beautiful, and I'm so happy she's healthy and she's here. So, that's the good news. And let me see. And Samuel's still here. He still hasn't been fully fired, so that's the other thing. BTK, the kitten's name is Chut, which means little in Russian. Chut, and that's CHUT. So Chut. And that is her name because Juju, when I finally figured out what the meaning of Juju is, I was not happy about that. I liked how it sounded, but it was either between Chut or Lulu. And Lulu is kind of harder for me to say, so I just went with Chut. So, yeah, and congratulations to Larry. I think he's at home with the baby right now, so he probably isn't going to see your messages right now, but he'll see it later. Okay, so have a great night, guys. I appreciate you guys so much for being with me. I will see you all on the next one. With that, I yield my time. Good night.